Love that. There we go.
Very nice.
Yes.
Loving the new hairstyle, Hal.
With
Honestly.
your new haircut as well.
Yes, my new haircut.
Back to what?
y'all
2018?
Gives me like,
Y'all wanna see? Ooh. This
dude, this gives me like startup IB type vibe.
Yeah. All right.
Yes. Alright.
Did you have time to listen to the songs, Hal?
Yeah. So Adrin's song was dope. Kevin's song, Adrin's song.
Come on, man.
Why you gotta do him like that, man? That's gotta, you know.
You have to be
I mean, Kevin is an interesting fellow.
That I concur. You know.
Yeah.
What?
You
You are
Special
interesting.
fellow. Special fellow.
Oh, man.
Come on, dude.
Are we gonna do this or not?
Yeah, we're doing it already, bro.
Okay,
Let's go.
We can start.
Oh, we're doing it already.
Wait, did you start recording audio already?
Yeah, audio is already recording. We're all good to go.
Okay,
You guys
we're gonna
have
start
an intro?
here. Well, not really. It's mostly just like, yo, what's up? I'm Kevin. I'm the host, and this is my co-host, Adrin. And
Hello.
today our guest is. You can introduce yourself, sir.
Hi, I'm Kevin. My host is Adrin. And, I'm Hal.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yes.
So, usually we have predetermined like sections or whatever.
Yes.
So we have like the news sections and then interesting facts sections and the entertainment section, right? So we'll start with the news section.
Ooh.
I sent you both a clip. Did you see the Domino's Pizza
Yeah, I watched it.
driverless delivery thing?
You didn't send me no clip, bro.
I sent you a damn video, man, a while ago.
No damn video, bro.
Okay, so basically,
On WhatsApp, come on.
the video. Let me
What?
just describe what happens in the video. So basically, these people, they order pizza from Domino's. I think it's in the States, if I'm not wrong. And because of this,
Yeah, looks like.
because of this issue, I think because of the COVID-19, or it might have been before. I'm not sure when the video was dated. Basically, the pizza was delivered in this self-driving car. It came over, it's pretty cool. That opened up the door. There was this iPad where you could type in your code. And
Yeah.
you got
Oh,
your
I've seen
food.
this video. Not,
Yeah.
not from Kevin.
Yeah.
But I've seen
Yeah,
this.
and then it tells you to go back, and then it goes on its own. So that was a pretty interesting thing to see.
It's pretty scary, you know, just like Andrew Yang, like, you remember? Like, we were talking about artificial intelligence and stuff, and
Yes.
how drivers, delivery drivers or truck drivers are all going to lose their jobs because of artificial intelligence.
Yeah, man.
How would you share your thoughts, sir?
You want me to share my thoughts?
Yeah, of course.
Please enlighten us.
I think AI.
Allen Iverson.
Yes, me and Kevin were talking about AI a couple of days ago, a couple of weeks. I don't know, man. Time in coronavirus has been a little weird, man.
That's true.
I've been growing bald, bro. You see this?
No, that's
So-
just.
So
Perception of time
yeah,
is just off.
Yeah, we were talking about artificial intelligence, and we were talking about how the dangers of it and how it's gonna cause not only economic disruption, but it's gonna cause a lot of social and even some spiritual disruption. Because the fact is, like, with I was reading. Do you guys know Yuval Noah Harris? I think.
Yeah. He's author of
wrote-
Sapiens.
No, I don't.
Sapiens.
He wrote,
Yeah, he wrote Sapiens.
Wrote Sapiens. So he's
Oh,
Israeli
he's the author.
historian.
Okay,
yeah.
cool.
So he's this Israeli historian, and he was talking about how in this coming age we have three main. We have the threat of nuclear war. We have the threat of climate change, and we also have the threat of artificial intelligence. And basically, with artificial intelligence, it's the biggest threat for probably our mentality about everything. Because he talked about how, right now we have this whole economic system, and we have all these classes, right? We have the upper class, the lower class, and the working class, and the the middle class. But now, what we're edging towards is with the rise of artificial intelligence, and there will be a point where artificial intelligence becomes so cheap and so economically more
that it just like
intriguing.
shuts down the lower class.
Yes,
right?
it shuts down the lower class, and essentially we go from I think Elon Musk was talking about it, but
yeah, it's just like basically we have a large divide.
Yeah.
Right.
So
it just widens the gap.
So Yuval Noah Harris, he talked about how for the first time we're gonna have a people that instead of becoming a lower class, we have a whole new economic class called the useless, where we literally have people.
Oh my god!
Yeah, we have all these people.
That's kind of true.
No, that is true though. I mean,
seriously-
given that artificial intelligence implies a lot of jobs, I mean, a lot of jobs will just be taken out, just vanish immediately. A lot of people whose professions were mainly based on that area, that specific area, will just be deemed useless.
I mean,
I feel like that's like my
Yuval Harris. He was talking about how it can go all the way from, let's say, drivers to the point where we even have there's not going to be use for a doctor because robots may just more easily diagnose because of these things where we can analyze certain parts of us and certain parts in our biology just by looking at it. And it's crazy. So you have doctors, and these are people who the people who are getting medical degrees, it's upwards of 5 years, right? 5 years and up. And if you want to become a surgeon, it's so much more, right? So
I think at that point, human doctors would only be used as sort of like what do you say, like consultation.
Yeah.
So like the robot or machine sort of reads this thing, and the doctor's like, oh yeah, that's confirmed.
Yeah.
So you won't have a lot of doctors like working out in the field. So I think this is like one of my biggest fears as well. Like a lot of jobs will become obsolete, and then I'll just be like stuck like, oh, will I have a job in the future? You know what I'm saying? Like
it goes for surgeons as well.
And if you see like the progress made by artificial intelligence over time, like first we're conquering like from small things like chess, AlphaGo, that thing, and you see when Gary Kasparov talks about it, he's like, artificial intelligence is just able to like, even though artificial intelligence doesn't like actually think, it can learn at a much faster rate than humans. It can learn like lifetimes or go through lifetimes of simulations within a second. So basically with that learning speed, it just like outclasses us in in chess and those kind of games, and it'll only get better. So like even though they can't really think, they can just outclass us by like learning everything faster. So this shows you sort of the power of like learning fast and how important that sort of drive is.
I think my particular thought about this is that with the rise of artificial intelligence, we are going to an age that maybe since the supposed birth and death of Christ, or just around that age, the very early AD, 0 AD, and upwards of that, we may be going through a new age of spiritual crisis. Because I feel like, whether you believe in religion or whether you believe that God's real, or what we are gonna have is we're gonna have a crisis of a lot of people inherently useless, at least in an economic point. And with that, you have a lot of people where they just feel like it's me. So it's all, I don't know if you guys have read about Nietzsche, but he talks a lot about how, with the death of God comes that now we're going to be God. And literally, this is the one point where we are going to be the people who are literally playing God. We are the people who, for the first time, there's not going to be biological creation. There's going to be artificial creation.
Yeah.
And I don't know how that's gonna collide between like biological thought, just natural biological thought, our consciousness, and I don't know how that's gonna clash. Like what is this biological thought and artificial thought? biological life and artificial life. I don't know how that's gonna clash, because I feel like with artificial thought, there is no, let's say, meaning to it other than that we give it meaning. So it's the same thing, I feel like, especially in this time.
Yeah.
And in the future, more than ever, we're gonna have to discover who we are as a human race. So I feel like either we're gonna have a lot of people who end up committing suicide, or gonna be a huge rise of religious extremism, or at least some sort of going towards spirituality. So I feel like that's my opinion.
I feel like as we move towards like this technological advancement, at some point we begin to lose like very important things, don't you say? Like let's say like robots tend to take over the driving job, right?
Yeah.
Means that the entire human population can no longer drive. Like that's a skill that's gone, right? Handled by robots.
Yeah.
If robots take the farming job, like we literally can't farm anymore. It's only the robots doing it.
I mean, I think
so. I feel like at some point, at some point when it reaches like we can't die anymore, like what's the point of like life? You know, like
I mean,
at some point, like if you immortal, you end up like doing everything, and then it's just like.
I reckon the people who are or who want to become immortal, I feel like the whole human existence was one of the biggest thoughts is what happens after death, and what gives my life meaning. And once you're immortal, at least humans, we're not fit enough to become, or we're not fit enough to give ourselves meaning, because all those times that's happened in the past, in history especially, or we're the people who are creating good and evil things have happened. So I think once we lead towards a life that has like immortality, I reckon there's gonna be more people killing themselves than
I think that's a big fear of mine as well.
I mean the question I think that will lead us to, from all these points that you've made, is what will there be a coexistence between artificial intelligence and life, or should there be some proportionality that should be I mean that's the thing, can it be limited to a proportion, coexistence?
Do you mean like government intervention, something like that?
I mean that's something Andrew Yang was on about, wasn't he? I mean Elon Musk was also on about it, considering that we have a certain limitation to the growth of artificial intelligence, so that we don't go to that barrier, if you know what I mean. And so that would potentially limit its growth, so that we have some control. Because I think the problem with artificial intelligence is at some point it's going to get out of our reach, out of our control. And it's going to be doing things that we won't be able to foresee at all. And at that point, what's going to happen, I mean, then it leads to what you're saying.
In my opinion, I feel like we should not go past that point. Because this whole economic system is not, it seems like every single day it's just designed for growth, but remember that it's supposed to be designed just human prosperity, right?
Yeah.
So
that's true.
If we create some sort of invention that doesn't have that in mind, that's not the point. We shouldn't be going there. There should be some sort of government intervention with that, because there's gonna be some terrible things if we're gonna, the entirety of human civilization has to communicate with another sort of organism. It's like an alien, but instead of discovering that alien, we end up creating it.
Yeah.
So
that's really nice.
we've got a time where we don't even know how to create a perfect human, or we got a time we don't even know. Most people aren't even, let's say, in most standards, not perfectly moral, right? So how can we create a robot or artificial life that can possibly coexist with us? Because I reckon the robot will just run itself into like logical fallacies, and then eventually it'll come under the conclusion that, oh, there's no good and evil. These humans created me, and they don't even know what good and evil is. And then, you know, it might just
I think the funny thing here,
we suck.
or
they just determine we suck, and then like
no, that's the funny thing is this has been represented in so many fictional stuff, such as the Avengers. They have created, you know, Age of Ultron. There's Terminator. There's so many of these fictional stories that have basically shown, or in a way, foreshadowing what possibly might happen in the future. And I think the issue with this is world leaders are not understanding the potential implications of focusing or researching in artificial intelligence, because what it could mean, we never know until we get there, and it might be too late when we actually get there.
Yeah, I mean, in my opinion, I reckon the world leaders, it's not that they don't recognize, it's simply that they are not in control. Because we live in a time that you have more power as a independent person who owns a lot of the market than someone who's, you know, we have more power if let me rephrase. So now we live in a time where power is no longer, like, you know, kings were given power, presidents are given power. The people who are up top, as let's say Bill Gates and all the billionaires, they're the people who have all this power, and frankly, it's not us that chooses them. We choose their product. But, you know, when have we ever chosen a product simply because it's the person?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So
I feel like
go on.
One of the thing I'm concerned most about in artificial intelligence, and the reason why it's so dangerous, is in fact just the rate of growth itself.
Yeah.
Like, once you reach general AI, this AI can just literally like learn exactly like a human, but way faster. And what happens when such an AI decides things that are far beyond our capacity? So, for example, it decides something is worth more than human lives. Then it starts killing people to reach this. And that's, you know, there might be some suboptimal outcomes in terms of our opinion, which the artificial intelligence sees as more valuable.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I think definitely in the coming age, more than arguably ever, we have the most control on human existence as a whole. And the fact is, I feel like the coming age, it won't be an economic problem. I think it's going to be inherently a moral. Because you know, we got to start asking, like, okay, do we have to input morality into artificial intelligence?
Oh yeah, morality.
I reckon you're either gonna have to input some sort of worldview in artificial intelligence and limit them from making certain decisions.
There's actually
you gotta stop them from making any sort of decisions with human lives. Insane. So
because you can't really quantize, like, what is it? You can't quantize morality, is it? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
like, it's difficult to.
Yeah,
that was what I was referring to when I said coexistence of life and artificial intelligence. That's what I was referring to. We have some capabilities, and we have some. I don't know how you refer to that, but we have things that are much more valuable, or much more harder to replicate in artificial intelligence. There is some value, intrinsic value, that we carry that can't be expressed using some artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
Oh wait, I think I know what you're saying. You're saying that how do we make it so that the values of the artificial intelligence match our values as a species?
Yes. And that's where I'm getting at, about controlling their use, or controlling their growth, or controlling their coexistence with us. And at the moment, I don't know how far we could get with that growth process or its capability process. You know what I mean?
I mean, there was a saying by Yuval Noah Harris, right? And what he said was that now more than ever, we're gonna go into an age where engineers have to solve spiritual problems. So engineers have to be the moral one, more than ever. And I reckon that in this time, I you know, we have such a hard time even grasping or even understanding morality and
That's
you know,
true.
finding that coexistence between morality. You know, we still have religious conflict, we still have all, right?
Yeah.
Whether that's right or wrong, that's your decision, right? But either way, we have this conflict, and with that, how in the world are we gonna coexist with this frankly just artificial intelligence, artificial creatures that have zero morality?
That's true. How do we make it so that you know, it doesn't go wrong?
I mean, I
we
think
don't even understand it ourselves.
The biggest worry I have over all this is just that simple realization that even if government intervention prevents any further growth of artificial intelligence, some guy out there is going to be like, oh, this is going to be the best.
That's true.
And they're going to retaliate and create something that might just be our worst fears. And we, at that point, we must be able to...
I feel like the solution then is to like not stop the growth, because like as you've seen throughout history, whatever you do, you try to stop something, people will just do it. Like, you know, the prohibition in USA, they like ban.
If anything, it'll make them
from drinking.
It'll make them want to do it more.
Yeah, more stronger alcohol, and people died. So just like you have to control it, but not like outright stop it. So you just have to manage the growth, make sure it doesn't go wrong. I think that's the solution.
Yeah.
But either way, the future's uncertain, and
you know, like I said, I feel like the coming age is going to be the age where we, as and the hard thing is that it's gonna be us in 20 years or 30 years when we're 40
making the decision.
We're gonna be making the decision. So we gotta be the people who, you know, gets their act together, and we gotta be the people.
And I mean, I think this is a great way of you know, bringing up that responsibility, because like we're gonna have to, just the fact that we're having this conversation now it's a great way of outlining that.
It's scary because we're leading towards a era
something
where
new.
there's not gonna be morality, right? Because we're leading to an era where there's not going to be some sort of fixed morality, because we're going away from the normal tech. I get my morality from this religious book and I do what it says, right? So the moment we that, we start making like these ideas, oh, there's no truth or there's no morality, and the moment we get there, it's crazy, because we're going to be a people that is morally bankrupt, trying to create a creation that is morally abundant. So I don't know how that's gonna happen. It's wild, bro. It's wild.
It is definitely. It's a great.
All right, so you guys know about the NBA, right? And how it's closed and everything.
Yeah.
What do you think about that? I feel like I don't know. This whole year's like been crazy. Like with Kobe's death, like honor Kobe, you know. So all of that, and I was really excited to see how this season of NBA plays out, you know.
I mean, bro, LeBron was gonna kill it. I was reckoning that LeBron was gonna win.
LeBron Anthony Davis, man.
I mean above all, I think the person who should win the MVP should be Dwayne Wade for giving 9 out of 10 for Aaron Gordon. I think he should win an MVP for that.
Was that for a dunk contest?
Yes.
So I was looking forward to just like looking at
Adrin, bro.
Yes.
Joke. He doesn't understand. He was like, oh yes, Dwayne Wade.
Oh yes. Whatever he say.
No. So I was looking forward to seeing how like Luka Doncic was gonna play out. You know, whether he was gonna make it to the playoffs and things like that. He's a very interesting player, honestly, in my opinion.
Yeah, bro. Look at Doncic. He is the future. I mean, we're very lucky.
That's true.
We got Trey Young. We got
Yeah.
Doncic. We got Giannis. So
That's true.
we got Zion, bro.
It's gonna be
it's gonna be crazy.
very interesting time ever since
Yeah.
like the 2000 seasons.
Yeah.
You know.
Yo, what do you think about Rudy Gobert? I heard he's trying to get a trade out of Utah.
I don't know, man. I don't follow trades and stuff. I just
Nah.
I
do
just
you
watch
think?
like the cool highlights. Luka Doncic, the back highlight.
Adrin, what do you think?
I think it's a very interesting point. Yes.
Do you think Cristiano Ronaldo should win the MVP
Oh my.
this year?
Okay, you're trying to troll
Is there
me
even an
with the
MC?
football player.
Bro, soccer.
Soccer, football. Yeah.
All right, so I think Adrin talked about this. Certain companies are struggling to keep up with the demand, like of consoles or games, and
Alright.
because so many people are playing games, like people are finding errors at a more accelerated rate.
Yeah.
So, and these companies are struggling to patch up these errors, and I think Adrian mentioned CS:GO has had a lot of like patch notes recently.
Too many.
Yeah.
I mean, it's never happened. It's not in the pattern. Not only CS:GO, many games such as, especially for Nintendo, Animal Crossing, many other, even Minecraft has a lot of changes, especially in its servers. I mean, the main reason for this is obviously because everyone's quarantined at home, have nothing else to do. They're playing games. And just like Kevin said, just by playing the game, you find a lot of these errors and you try to find a way to patch them and you report them. And since we are limited to resources and most of these companies, not all of them are at work from home at the moment. Some of them are shut down, partially shut down. So they're finding inability to fill up those exploits. And it's causing a bit of issue for stakeholders as well as people who are playing. They're like, this game is broken. Why would I play this? And so companies are not only losing their shares, they're also losing market value. And games are just being played less. So it's a bit of an issue.
I don't think I agree with you. I don't think I agree with you on that last point. I think like everything is spiking up. Like Netflix is spiking up usage of Amazon, everything. Like people are using it more. Like especially now in quarantine, it's like a good time to get into.
I should probably rephrase. What I meant is, eventually, that specific game, if nothing is done to it, they would move on to something else. Because if we get bored of something, the human right is moving on.
I can see what you're trying to say. It's gonna get to a point where the market's gonna be saturated, right? But
Yeah.
I don't know how it's gonna happen. That's a lot of times.
Using VPN for every country, all the countries combined, it's us too,
Wait, Adrian, what are you talking about? I'm talking about YouTube.
Wow, I'm talking about Netflix, bro. I have to use VPN to use Netflix.
Yeah, Netflix.
Yeah, what are you talking about?
Steal Sandro's account, bro.
No,
Yeah.
I was talking about
Steal
YouTube.
Sandro's account.
Yeah, well,
I was talking about YouTube.
oh, okay. We have to
You
get
don't
on the
need no
same
VPN
page,
for
bro.
YouTube, man.
No, you gotta. You see, it's my bank account, like the savings and the checking.
Ah, of
There.
course. Yeah.
So because of
Yeah,
that,
just use Sandro's account, bro. We'll share the link after.
Oh yeah, sure.
I'll show you.
if you share this podcast, the 8 people who are gonna give you the count.
Yeah. Share this podcast.
No, dude. Comment down in the description, subscribe, leave a like, and
Giveaway.
random people
For a Netflix, free Netflix account, even free NordVPN, completely free of use.
No. This is not. We're not doing this. We're not doing this. It's a joke. It's a joke. It's not
just
real.
a funny story, bro. I used to try to get these subscribers. I swear Adrian did this too. To get subscribers, you would have this giveaway, right?
Yeah.
and then you create your own account. You give
the giveaway to
yourself. The giveaway to yourself, bro.
I'll be honest with
next
you.
level.
I'll be honest with you. I did that for the first 2 times, and the third one, which apparently had the biggest views, that one was legitimate. But the other 2, I'll be honest, that was fake.
Bro.
That was fake.
Bro, keep playing is really playing us right now, bro. That's a lie. That's a lie.
See,
No
he's
way.
trying to get in your head, boys. Don't listen to him.
Bro, I used to have You see, guys, I'm an OG YouTuber. I was a YouTuber back in the day, killing it in Minecraft.
Channel deleted.
Yeah, I deleted my channel just because, you know, I had a couple of scandals.
If university see his channel, they're gonna reject immediately.
I reckon I would have like zero job if like my
Zero job. Hey, you stop YouTube.
Bro. Ain't nobody gonna watch me.
Okay, on to the next segment, which is very nice segment I implemented. It's called interesting facts. So here I usually like to share like physics explanations. Doesn't have to be physics, but just anything interesting. So I'll start off first. So the question I'm gonna explore here today is, why is the sky blue? Very simple question, right? I don't know if you've ever researched it, but it's basically something to do with quantum effects. Well, that's like the complicated, but like I'm gonna simplify it, right? Basically, because of certain probabilities, like there's a probability that when the light comes into the atmosphere, like there's a probability that that color of or wavelength of light gets reflected, or I mean gets deflected, sort of like changes angle, right? So blue light wavelength is actually the one most likely to change direction. So that means that if we're not staring directly at the source, which is the sun, it'll just look blue to us because it's just the light that is getting reflected by the atmosphere, you know? And that's why when you stare at the sun, it looks as if it's like red or orange, because at those wavelengths, like the light is less likely to get sort of like, you know, deflected. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yo,
That's pretty cool, right? What do you think?
Kevin, that was like big brain. You should call this section big brain.
You know, when I was a kid,
we could call it that for further
big brain section.
Adrin, what's yours?
Now, before I get to mine, I will talk about what you just said. As a kid, I used to think that the sky was blue because the ocean is blue, you know. And I was like, when I grew up, I was like, wait,
Reflected.
the ocean is blue because the sky is blue. Wait, so why is the sky blue? And that's when I searched up and I found Kevin's explanation there. It was an interesting point. Anyway,
I mean,
It's called Rayleigh scattering, I think.
yeah. I mean, I looked at the sky.
Rayleigh's criterion.
And
No, it's different.
It's the sky.
Rayleigh scattering, but anyways. Yeah. I looked at the sky and it's the sky.
it's the sky.
It's the
I
sky.
was just like, yo, it's blue. Why?
It is what it is.
Yo, it's blue. That's
blue.
it. That's
It's
it.
blue. It is what it is.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
sometimes
definitely-
Alright, Adrian, what's yours?
sometimes it's good to be like that. It is what it is, you know. So my realization was it has to do with time. I don't want to be too. Time is a very interesting concept and a construct. It's just that, I mean, I'll go back to us being in quarantine and stuff like that. I mean, somehow related to COVID-19. But you know, I'm here. I have nothing to do. We have graduated school, so
I have no job.
I have no job. And the thing that I realized is like the perception of time is very different. For me, time is going by so fast. Like it's already the 1st of May today. Oh, also, if you're watching this in the future, today is May Day, which is Labor's Day. So happy Labor's Day. Anyway,
Okay. Yeah.
the thing what I'm trying to say, just easy plug-in, you know. What I'm trying to say is that my dad is working every day. He's even on Saturdays and Sundays, he's still working from home. And to him, time goes so slow, right? And for me, it just goes by so fast. Even if I'm bored, or even if I'm doing something, like playing games or something, time just goes by so fast. I wake up in the morning like at 8. To me, I just go downstairs, immediately it's 4 p.m.
Yeah,
So now
it's
this
very
goes that.
interesting because it's not just like in the physical world that time is dependent on the state of the observer, but also in the sense of your experience of time is dependent on your state yourself. And
Yeah,
that's, I think, very interesting is what you're trying to say. Right?
that is what I'm trying to say. It's such an interesting concept.
Yeah, very cool, very cool. How about you, Hal? Do you have any like
Bro.
economics
I have
things
a
or
really
something?
It's not economic. So a couple of days I searched up on like what to do in this quarantine.
Oh, okay, thank God. I thought you were gonna search up something else there.
No.
All right,
no,
man.
let
We gotta.
me get to it.
Sorry. Go.
Okay.
So I searched up what to do in quarantine, and I came across this website, and I think Adrian knows that website. was just gonna say that's my interesting fact. Stay well, guys.
That's it.
Yes, that's it. What? I didn't come prepared with like an interesting fact. I mean, okay.
Not anything, just off the top of your head.
Okay,
Something.
off the top of my head,
Yeah.
I am
Going back to YouTube.
Yo, how many views would this get if like the video said like Hal Kronos Recon 19 return?
It returned to YouTube.
And then you gotta have the brackets. You gotta have the brackets gone wrong. You know.
Every video gone wrong. And then like a thumbnail of you screaming.
Yeah. Wait. Here's his thumbnail. Ah. So.
Your camera was so laggy we didn't even get it.
Oh, that's nice. Yo, I'm running on top himself. So.
Oh, that explains it. Yeah.
You know, I'm just talking about this, and I have like 0 interesting facts. I'm like the last person you gotta like.
That's fine.
Yes.
I mean, like you talk about a lot of interesting things, you know. So I just assume.
No, I think you were.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, it's fine.
Thanks.
It's just
babe.
maybe
Thanks,
you.
babe. Yeah.
All right. So on to the next segment, the entertainment segment. So we have like video games, TV shows or movies, music, and books.
Yes.
Which one would you like to go through first?
Ooh, let's go to books, bro. Let's go to books.
Very nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you want us to start first, so you get the hang of what's going on?
All right. Go on.
All right. So I'm gonna go with my my number 1 fiction book
Ooh.
pick. I don't usually like reading fiction, but this is an exception. It's called The Giver. Have you guys ever read it?
Ooh, no.
No, I haven't.
No, it's actually really good. Adrin, can you not?
Sorry.
It's making the video quality really bad.
Sorry.
Just search on your phone, please.
Okay.
Anyways, so the Giver is very interesting because going back to like technological advancements and everything. So it's like this utopian society where people basically like everything's black and white. You don't see color. They control the weather, everything. There's you take these pills that sort of like control your emotions and the way you see. And the whole moral of this book is like how this utopian idea is actually dystopian, because we lose a lot of the things we take for granted, like being able to see color or being able to feel emotions, and how like pain and happiness are like polar opposites, and without the other you can't experience the other in the sort of like polarizing degrees. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think that's a like very interesting concept that sort of these books explore. That's what books are good at doing, exploring concepts. And I think this is one of the books that explored that very interesting concept that you can just spend days thinking about. You can analyze the book, whatever, brings up some relevant topics.
I might just read this tomorrow. It sounds really good. I even read the quick synopsis. Well, I wouldn't say synopsis. I don't know if that's what you call like a quick overview is what I read. It seems really good.
Even though I was forced to sort of read it in English class, I think I just ended up reading it in like a week, which was sort of unprecedented because I usually don't read books outside of class. When at that time, right, when I was a kid. So
yeah, I think I mentioned this in the last podcast, how important books are, especially now. Books are very important, and I'll just dive into.
We can go to your recommendation. Yeah.
All right, my recommendation for this week is a book by Phil Knight, who is the creator and owner of Nike. It's called Shoedog. It's a very interesting book. It's basically how he made Nike, starting from the very bottom startup all the way to this big multi-million-dollar company. You know what I mean? It was such an interesting journey for me to read. I mean, I've learned, I don't really take economics or business in school or anything, but I've always had a certain interest towards it, just to see how the world really works. And so when I did read this book...
I mean, you did take economics.
I did it in GCSE, but not in IB, is what I meant.
Yeah. Shout out year 11 economics class.
Year 11 nightmare economics class. Mr. Oldfield. Anyway,
love you, bro.
Love you too, bro. The point is, he writes the story so well. It's his autobiography. He wrote basically his own story, and the way he delivers from the beginning all the way from him walking and running around his neighborhood, not knowing what to do in the morning, all the way to him running around his house. He ends it the same way. He says, "Oh, at the end of the day, I still run around my house." Thinking about this whole thing, it's such an interesting way he's
so it's
expressing.
circular. It's circular.
It's circular. It's
I really love it when
these kind of
do
books.
that. Like it just goes back to the start. Oh,
that's fantastic. And the way he wrote the book, it was just like you can learn a lot. You know what I mean? I mean, books are often just like shared knowledge, right? You're giving off knowledge from your experiences, and I think I've learned a lot because usually when you make mistakes, you learn from them. But you're learning from these people who've already made those mistakes, so you don't have to. Yeah. So those kind of stuff I really appreciate, and I think the book.
That's what Seneca says, yo. My G Seneca, you know.
Yes, you're G Seneca.
Yeah. Oh yeah. By the way, thanks for recommending me that book. I talked about it in the last podcast.
Ooh, nice. I gotta listen to the last podcast first, bro. I'm sorry.
It's okay. And also, Adrin's recommendation for last week was Man's Search for Meaning.
Which I also recommended to him, I believe.
Did you?
Yeah, so...
You may have.
I was the one who actually recommended it to him.
Oh, did I not recommend it to you?
No, because I wanted to buy it off of him, but he never actually gave me the book.
No, I bought the book, and then it was wet when it arrived, so I had to send it back. And then the guy never sent me back. I just took a refund.
So what's your recommendation, for this time?
So I was in Bali a couple of days ago, and I've got a non-fiction book, but it's a book I think that we should all read. It's called The Uninhabitable.
Uninhabitable Earth, huh?
By
you know
what?
I heard this from Mr. Durock. That's who I heard this from.
It seems like an interesting book.
I told
Go ahead, explain.
Mr. Durock to read it.
Yeah.
Shout out Mr. Durock.
And then he told me this.
Go ahead, explain.
Go
ahead, explain.
Anyways, so it's a book basically about climate change, and the thing is, it's a book regarding how urgent these problems are, and how we were talking about earlier, and I mentioned how one of the three biggest problems are nuclear war. Talk about AI, but I feel like climate change is also an incredibly disastrous thing that could happen, because especially that where we are, we're in Indonesia, Jakarta, and frankly, a lot of the world's population lives right next to the coast, right next to the sea.
Yeah.
So we've got a problem of so many people being at risk of being displaced, and we also might have some huge economic disruption. So frankly, it's gonna be hard, it's gonna be crucial, and frankly it's gonna be the burden on us again. But I feel like it's definitely a book. It is arguably a really hard book to read, because you're reading information that you don't want to know. But I say we have to read it if we're thinking of.
We gotta be woke, you know.
It's not something you can ignore. Yeah, you can't be blissful.
It's like I think this. I've learned this from Geo as well. Like in Indo, we're sucking out groundwater, and eventually we're gonna sink. And that's a very scary thing to think about.
And,
you know.
And it's not only that. It's because the warmer it gets, not only are we gonna have to move in Indonesia, but the crops are dying. I mean, the places that are struggling with this is Adrin's hometown, India, Pakistan, Bangladesh. That area, they're gonna be absolutely screwed by climate change. And read the book. There's sometimes it's a little. What would you say? It's a little biased at times, but it's definitely a book it's like a slap in the face. And I'd say read it. It's important.
Yeah, it's like shortness of life, but like on the earth.
It's an important slap in the face.
Book. It's important. Yeah, it's an important slap in the face. That's what it is.
I mean, actually,
so read it. What are you gonna say?
No, I was saying, I forgot about. I should have mentioned this in the interesting news section. Actually, I read this article today claiming that according to the Copernicus, what is it? Copernicus Atmospheric Monitoring Service. That's what it was. CAMS. The ozone layer is closing.
Yeah.
Apparently, it's
over
closing.
time it does that.
Yeah, I mean that's its natural thing. But it's closing.
If nothing back, that's the thing. If we slow down our emissions and stuff, we can actually regenerate the ozone layer. That's a good thing.
But the interesting thing was that the people who claimed this fact said that it is not the pandemic that's the reason for its closure. They're saying it's something, some other reason that it's closing, and not the fact that we're not producing so much emissions or manufacturing.
So we don't
things.
know yet.
So we don't. Yeah, according to that claim, I'm not sure how perfectly. I mean, it is from CAMS, but
there might be some.
I'm not sure about the validity of this source.
I was reading an article on how this is arguably the turning point on how we're gonna deal with climate change. Because out of all, we're going through an economic recession. We're about to go through an economic recession. We don't know how bad it is.
That's true.
It's like it's gonna be. But we have the opportunity to really readjust our economic system.
Yes.
Because it's already pretty much So we've got people without jobs.
So we have to build it up from the bottom.
I was talking to my dad about this just today. It's like, this is a great moment. It's like a reset point where we can fix our mistakes, start from ground zero, and actually make a system that's working for us, that isn't ruining the environment. It's something that's efficient and it works well. And it's interesting because the pandemic is kind of helping us do that, because everything is going to be different from now on, right? Nothing is going to be the same.
I mean, more than ever, we have the chance to take risks now.
Yeah,
because it's already bad.
Yeah.
Not terrible risks, but calculated risks. You know, and we have that opportunity. So I'm just I'm hoping that we have some people in power who are willing to actually implement some things, and hopefully it happens.
Andrew Yang, boys. Andrew Yang 2024.
I mean, if we don't, we are in for something, because climate change is something that is way bigger. AI, we have an ability to control. Climate change is way bigger, and if we don't take action in the next coming, we are gonna be screwed. We're gonna be screwed. Our whole living is gonna change, because people are not gonna be able to live next to the coast. We're gonna cost so much. It's gonna cost so much.
The problem with this is there's so many factors that come into the environment. Like, for example, we have I think a statistic is 1/3 of all food in the US is being tossed away.
Yeah,
that's I've
seen that.
What?
Before.
And also a majority of the land is being used for meat, and also crops for meat. So what? So you can just cut that, and we can just use it for something more efficient. Even recycling isn't really very efficient either. Most things can't end up not getting recycled. So we have a lot of problems that we need to solve, and if people don't get involved, there's going to be a problem.
Yeah, so I was reading up on Bill Gates has a lot of good videos on energy, actually. The Bill Gates site, and he reads a lot from this Russian guy who moved to Canada. I forgot it, but you can search him up, you'll find him. Basically what they talked about, how one of the most important things now is not necessarily about creating, but it's more about cutting. It's more about efficiency.
Yeah.
It's more about it's
I think I know the guy you're talking about.
Yeah, I mean it's gonna be really hard to move directly from coal to coal to solar panels, or completely renewable. But what I read is that I was doing some reading, and what I read, coal emits a lot more than just natural gas. So just switching onto let's say onto cleaner fossil fuels even though let's say that's not long term, but switching on to cleaner fossil fuels.
Yeah, very short term. Yeah.
For short term, that gets rid of, let's say, 40% of the carbon emission easily. Easily.
Also, the thing is like to do with efficiency. We're wasting so much.
Yes.
Like if you're thinking about how many like middlemen there are, especially when you have wireless charging now, you know, like how much energy and efficiency is wasted through wireless charging. It's ridiculous. And people think this is the future. Like,
how much is wasted through wireless charging?
You get like what is it, like less than 50% efficiency through wireless charging.
It's a big drop in efficiency.
It's bad. It's really bad.
Like, no, you can test this out right now.
All you're looking for is like, all you're looking for is like putting your phone on some sort of like thing. Just plug it in, dude. You're wasting so much energy.
That's crazy.
I mean, that's another thing to look at. We're just being more lazy.
Yeah. I mean, that's a whole nother talk.
That is another whole nother talk.
But I think the it's efficiency, and the thing is that our, for an economy that, or for a bunch of thinkers that say we want to optimize efficiency, the government is not operating in 100% efficiency, at least in energy. And the fact is that if we simply get more efficient in energy, we could cut out a lot of carbon emissions. And if we get more...
and costs, especially.
And if we could somehow manage our waste, we could learn how to manage our waste and turn that into energy. We could do a lot. Just simply by managing things better.
That's big brain right there.
Yeah, that's true.
That's system. That's big brain.
It's like
that's
because resources aren't being if we allocate our resources, we can actually do much better than we're doing right now.
So it's like
your interesting fact.
We're running and it's funny because our economic system boasts about how it's most allocatively efficient. My economics teacher would be proud. It's allocatively efficient, as in we allocate as many resources as efficiently as possible. But the thing is that allocative efficiency is not going to work if our wants are simply not efficient. It's also deeply moral. It's biblical. It's religious. It talks. Our whole life is about how our wants are pretty much and our resources are limited. So with a bad thing, we just gotta redirect our want. And I guess you gotta somehow, some way, have the government to restrict or just turn that into more efficient ways. And it's scary. I don't
streamlining,
know.
I think they call it.
Yeah. So it's like, how do we find a way to, let's say, organize food more efficiently? How do we find a way to organize energy more efficiently? Here we have a problem with how do we organize water efficiently here? Because we're like you said, Kevin, we're running out of groundwater.
I felt this
sucking it out, man.
This morning I had no water at all. I was telling Kevin about this before.
Water?
No, from last night we had no water. Like water only came back like at 12 out of 1.
I know. I remember like the story he told me was like, and then the spray, how that was me. First thing you worry about, the spray. That's how vibe check. We find out the same.
All right.
Yeah. Okay. On to the next segment now. It's songs. Did you get to listen to the songs?
Yes, I heard your song, Kevin.
We have.
What was your song, Kevin?
I'm gonna start with mine. Basically, how this goes is like I explain a little bit about why I like the song, and then you guys tell me your thoughts. So it was like the name is Sukiyaki, and the artist is Kyu Sakamoto. Basically, the reason why I like the song is because it has this like oldies kind of feel, and whenever I close my eyes and imagine, it sort of gives me like nostalgia for something I've never listened to, or something an event I've never experienced. So it's crazy how a song can just like create this emotion of I don't know if you'd call it an emotion, but just feeling of nostalgia, and that's why I like these kind of songs so much. And sort of the Japanese songs of that time sort of encompass that feeling so much. there are a lot of songs like that, and yeah, it's just one of my favorites.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Right.
I mean, it was definitely oldies. It was definitely it's not some music that I would listen to, while I'm working out or while I'm,
Yeah, definitely not.
writing. But it's definitely some music maybe while you're doing, or music while you're just laying, you're just trying to relax, and it's just some nice comfortable music.
No, I was going to use the same thing Halcyon said. Actually, this applies to both of your songs that you sent. You're able to relax to it. When you listen to it, you're like, I'm in a safe pace. I'm in a safe space. Sorry, in a nice, comfortable location, and it kind of gives you that vibe. I see that nostalgia you're talking about, Kev. But I think for him, it might be much more deeper because he has some personal relation to it. But like just with any song, you have some kind of relationship to it. And I think it really did bring me to another area. If you close your eyes and just listen to it, you can. It elevates you, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Go ahead, sure, Adrin.
Adrin got teleported to his Japanese website.
Yeah.
Adrin, your turn. Your song.
I will talk about my song. Mine is Morph by 21 Pilots from their album Trench. It's an interesting. 21 Pilots as an artist, they're pretty deep. When I say deep, I mean like you can read between the lyrics. There's a lot of meaning in them, and usually the songs that I choose have some sort of meaning in the background. I found a personal relation to the song because like he says, "I'll morph to someone else. I'm just like a ghost," because like his true personality, his identity is not being valued in real life, so he has to fake himself by putting on a facade. And I think that's an interesting concept, especially now, because we need to be ourselves in order to make it
with technology, especially. It's crazy. People are making these facades, social media, everything. It's a very interesting concept.
It is.
We're living in an age where it's not the age of information; it's the age of misinformation. We're not living. We're not. In an age of identity politics, we're not. Living in an age of identity, we're living in an age of misidentity. We don't know who we are. Yeah,
definitely.
So,
Yeah.
Ooh.
No, that's true. That is.
That's big brain.
Yeah.
And that's exactly why I love this. Music like these just make you think about these kind of stuff, and it gives me that kind of vibe. It's good
honestly,
music.
in my opinion, like this song wouldn't be a song that I'd add to my playlist, but I don't mind it. It has some good elements, especially like the instrumentation. But I feel like it's just not a song for me.
Yeah.
But like I definitely do see like the meaning where you're coming from. It's a very interesting concept that it brings up.
Yeah.
What do you think, Hal?
I think it's a lot more hip. So you can just it's cool instrumentation, but it's always that. Yeah. That's what I found actually. We're sort of going through a divide with music where we have some pop. I'd recognize 21 Pilot as pop or just that type of music. So you have music where especially you have it with like meaning, and then you also have pop which has like zero meaning also. So but I definitely prefer like pop with some meaning, but also it's just easy to listen to, and this song is easy to listen to, so I like.
Right.
For me, I just like when I listen to songs, I like harmonies, chords, melodies, that sort of thing. Like just the way it sounds. Like if there's interesting instrumentation in there, especially like in the last podcast, the two songs I recommended had really good instrumentation, and just I think that's like I don't know why, it's the thing I like nowadays.
Yeah.
So. I guess you can talk about your song now.
Bro, Kevin, it's because you got big brain. Big brain, big ears.
I appreciate that. That.
So my song is 10 Years, and with brackets remastered by Scarypoolparty. So this dude,
Wait,
I discovered.
10 years?
Yeah, it's 10 years.
Wait.
Was that not what I recommended?
Yeah, it was.
I don't think you recommended that one. Wait, was it?
He did. Oh, wasn't it out loud or remastered?
Yeah, Out Loud.
Yes,
Out Loud.
Well, same thing. You know what? I'm gonna recommend to you guys to listen to 10 Years also. 10 Years.
Okay, 10 years. Right.
But I put out Loud, right? Out Loud with the brackets remastered.
Yeah.
By Scarypoolparty. And for me, the music is so much more about the artist. Like I'm sold by this artist, Scarypoolparty, and he was on American Idol, which usually the musicians and the singers on American Idol are just like, oh, nice, mediocre.
Yeah.
This dude is pure intelligence, because some of his other songs he literally incorporates Chopin.
Chopin.
Yeah, Chopin, whatever.
Not Chopin. He's my favorite classical artist.
Yeah. So he's got the arpeggio on the song. You should listen to it, and it's crazy. And this guy is so versatile because he has some pretty heavy rock in his album, but then he has like this folk.
Yeah, it's a nice mix between like it was a different, like usually music they give you like an emotional ride, right? But this one had a different feeling to it. It was pretty nice. You don't know what to expect.
And if I had recommended the 10 years remastered one, that one has like 808s and trap beats over a folk music. So no, but it's like,
hey, that one sounds lit, yo.
Yeah, so you gotta listen to it. Everybody listen to it now.
All right, 10 years.
Later.
Yeah. So
we got this.
So I it's not more. I didn't know what song I wanted to recommend, but I actually just wanted to recommend the art. Scarypoolparty. Just listen to it. Okay. Listen to his American Idol one, especially his original songs. Crazy.
All right.
Because you got like Lionel Richie and Katy Perry and that other dude who's like country.
That other dude.
I think. Yeah, I don't know. But you got Lionel Richie saying that he doesn't even deserve to be on American Idol because he's just this whole like artist. Like they look up to him. So it's crazy.
Yeah, that is mad. I'll definitely go take a listen to that.
So if you're a classical, if you like classical music, but you sort of like pop, listen to it. If you like pop, listen to it. If you like heavy rock, just listen to the.
Just listen to it anyway.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like
So basically, just listen.
Listen. Yeah.
Next segment, boys. I think this is all the time we can afford for is the last one. We're gonna skip one of them. We're gonna do TV shows / movies.
Ooh, alright, bro.
Nice.
I'm gonna do 2 this time because I know you might also want to recommend this, Hal. So the first one is I've talked to you guys about this, but I don't know if you've actually watched it. Is Person of Interest.
I have not watched it.
It's about it. It's very interesting. You should watch. It's basically about how 2 guys. One guy is like CIA, previously CIA agent. The other guy, very smart with computers, and he's the one who made the artificial intelligence they end up using. They basically just use this artificial intelligence that can basically like monitor everything and like, oh, this guy's gonna kill this guy, and so they basically like hunt down those people and save those people from the small crimes because the government doesn't care unless it's like a government level threat. So they're the ones handling those small crimes and killings. And it's a very interesting story. It escalates and then they explore different things about like AI and the morality, especially because one of the guys made the artificial intelligence, so they go through flashbacks and stuff. And one more is Kimi no Nawa, which is Your Name.
Yes.
Yeah, one of the best anime movies, I would say. I guess you can talk about it if you'd like. Why you like it?
Just watch it. It's like a rom-com anime. So if you like anime, I've recommended this movie to people who don't even like anime, and they've loved it. So it's like, just watch it, man. If you like romance, if you're watching this and you're, I don't know, if you're a little lonely, if you're like a hopeless romantic, bro, watch it.
I feel like it's not just romance either. It's like it explores a lot of like deep concepts like time or like identity, that kind of thing. It's very interesting.
So you gotta watch it. Yeah, I don't know, I can't say.
All right, Adrin, your turn.
All right, you know what? I'm also gonna recommend 2 very quickly. It's very, very good ones.
Wait,
First
no,
one-
we don't have time for that.
No, wait.
One only.
Fine. If only one.
One was a special case because Hal knows it.
Okay, fine. One, I think, I don't know if Kevin watched, I don't know if Halcyon has watched it, but the whole world is watching it right now. It's Money Heist. I cannot exaggerate
watched it.
how good this show is. I cannot exaggerate it. Like, because you have to watch it in order to, like, have your own personal relation to it, because a lot of people would be like, oh, it's like this, but another person might have a different perspective on it. There's many reasons to why you could like
Why
the
do
show.
you like it? Come on.
I like the show because it makes you off your what is it? What is that called?
At the edge of your seat.
Edge of your seat. It makes
Big.
every single
there you go.
episode. Every single episode. There
Like
isn't.
NBA 2K, I'ma stop playing.
I don't understand that reference. Anyway, every episode there is of all the four parts so far, you're on the edge of your seat and you're like, what happens next? What happens next? You know what I mean? It's so interesting and it's kind of a binge-worthy TV show. If you start watching it, like I recommend it to a lot of people, and one of them was like, dude, screw you. I already spent like 4 hours in this. I didn't even realize because they're just watching it in a binge, and it's a really good show. I think if you like that kind of suspense, kind of mystery thriller, like one person on the outside, one person on the inside, you know, that's really interesting. I think you'll like it.
Yeah. All right.
Your turn, Hal. What do you think? I mean, your
Dude,
recommendation.
this is hard. I'm gonna just do a quick recommendation of two. So there's one Netflix series. It's called Messiah. I thought it was like super skeptical. It's actually pretty interesting. But the movie that I would recommend out of all is this movie called Midnight in Paris. Have any of you guys watched it?
Midnight in Paris.
It's rom-com.
Midnight in what?
Yes.
Midnight in Paris.
Who hasn't watched this film?
I think
Bro.
I think I haven't.
Bro.
I think there's like very very trend like romance. Yeah.
Yeah, there's romance here because we're all lonely.
Very nice.
Except me.
Adrin doesn't. Only you and me like that type of stuff. And then like me and Adrin lonely. You're not.
Adrin likes his chemical romance, if you know what I mean.
Oh my God.
Anyways,
nasty.
yeah, Midnight in Paris. Midnight. You're the nasty one. Midnight in Paris is super good if you like romance, but also if you just like English literature, it's just super fun. It's just a fun movie. Like it's not really a movie to like get sentimental or anything. It's just it's deep. It's by Woody Allen.
Yeah.
So he talks about
great director.
it's also the concept about like time. I don't know why is it that like it's a lot about time right now, but yeah, time, romance.
Oh,
but it's,
time machine.
but it's just fun to watch it.
You know when you said sentimental, I was just thinking about Jiraiya. Feels bad, man. Why you like it?
I'm kidding. We agree.
Feels bad, man.
Naruto fan.
Alright, I guess that's where we ended off. Well, before we end it off, do you have any comments, anything? Would you like to shout yourself out? Hit that plug, you know?
Yeah. Just subscribe to this channel. I reckon I'm gonna be on this channel a lot. What is this? Is there a channel for this?
There is.
Yeah, there is.
Alright.
We'll share.
So, yo, don't follow me on Instagram. I don't want you guys to follow me.
Alright,
If I don't-
subscribe to Coral's
don't
Recon HD on
Yeah.
YouTube.
but
Just kidding, redacted. He doesn't exist.
fine, Kevin. Anyways, if you just just subscribe, and then hopefully you guys accept me back. With that being said, I never returned to the podcast.
Gone wrong.
Gone wrong.
Alright, guys.
All right.
That's gonna be where we ended off today. Make sure you go ahead and subscribe if you haven't. Like the video, whatever. Share it with other people. Make sure to also check out both of our YouTube channels, me and Adrin.
Yeah, description
I
below.
post some physics videos. Adrin posts gaming videos. And also, if there are any recommendations you are interested in checking out, just make sure to check the description. We'll have links for everything.
You can
Alright, cool.
You can DM me on my Instagram.
Chronos Recon HD YouTube.
DM me on my Instagram at Logan Paul. Alright.
Oh, that's it, guys. Anyway, if you're listening to this on Spotify, please make sure to check the description. Every information you need is there.
Alright. Just end this.
Alright, I guess that's it.
Anyway, alright.